Liverpool force Real Madrid to step up Ibrahim Konate chase with new £53 million plan. Marc Guehi explains why it has been easy for him to move on from failed Liverpool move. Liverpool in really intense race to sign Mohamed Salah replacement. Now let's hear the details. It's no secret that Ibrahim Konate has been one of Liverpool's worst players this season. The Frenchman has been the cause of a lot of goals that the Reds have conceded, with Virgil van Dijk having to cover for his partner an awful lot more often than he usually would. It's unclear why Konate has been so off the pace this term, but one consistent thing has been the questions about his future. Although his future shouldn't affect the way that he plays, it's clear that the lack of decisions being made is weighing heavily on his head. Now, however, it feels like Liverpool may have forced Real Madrid's hand into making an offer for the centre-back. Liverpool are seriously interested in Bremer with the £53 million price tag too much for Real Madrid. Bremer has been linked with a Liverpool move for some time now. The Brazilian currently plays for Juventus and, although he's 28 years old, that hasn't stopped several clubs from showing an interest in him over the last few months. That is, according to Spanish outlet Defensa Central, who share that a few English teams would be willing to spend £53 million to acquire his services in the future. However, this sort of money would deter Los Blancos from making a move. The report shares that Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, and Manchester United are all seriously evaluating making a move for the centre-back, with Real Madrid now dropping out of the race. This means that all of Real's attention will be on Konate and Dayot Upamecano, which is why the Reds may have forced Xabi Alonso's hand in his pursuit of the Anfield defender. Liverpool getting rid of Ibrahim Konate feels like the best thing to do at the moment. Although most fans wouldn't want to lose another one of their players to the La Liga outfit, with the way that Konate has been playing this term, it feels like they'd be doing Liverpool a favor. As mentioned, the Frenchman has been one of the Reds' worst players this season and, at the moment, it doesn't feel likely that things are going to get any better. That is, especially since there's no competition for his place in Arnslot's starting 11 aside from Joe Gomez. Indeed, Liverpool are still sitting at the top of the Premier League table, but, with the way things have gone over the last week or so, it's unclear whether it'll end up staying like that. At the moment, it's anyone's guess what could happen in the next couple of transfer windows, but if things continue in this downward spiral, some changes will certainly have to be made. Marc Guehi explains why it has been easy for him to move on from failed Liverpool move. The Marc Guehi to Liverpool saga was the only frustrating part of this season's transfer window for the club. Throughout the summer window, it seemed like a move for the Crystal Palace defender was inevitable, but it was left until the last few days of the transfer window to be agreed upon, which led to a collapse. On deadline day, a deal was all but agreed for £35 million, however, it fell through with hours to go, which, in hindsight, has become a clear issue given the performance of the defence this season. Guehi has not really spoken about moving to Liverpool since the move collapsed, with only a few interview questions in which he says that his focus was on playing football for Oliver Glasner's side. It was as though, a shame for Arnslot's team not to add him to the squad, especially given the injury to Giovanni Leone, which has meant the Italian fourth-choice centre-back is out for the rest of the season and more. Marc Guehi reveals it was easy to move on because of his mindset and the people around him. However, there is still hope that the Englishman will be playing under the Dutchman, with transfer rumours swirling and as Liverpool fans noticed the same thing about Guehi not celebrating when Palace scored against the Reds. A transfer falling through at the last second affects players differently depending on the situation, with some usually having bitter feelings towards their club for not allowing them to leave. In the case of the 25-year-old centre-back, he has spoken out about how he found it easy to move on from the situation straight away. Guehi spoke to TNT Sports about how he was able to cope with his switch falling through at the very last moment, and it was the defender's mindset and close circle that really helped ease the situation. In response to how he made it look so seamless, he said, because it was. The sun goes up, the sun goes down. Life goes on. I think that is my mindset, and if you adopt that mindset on most things, you just get on with life and move on. And fortunately for me, I am at a football club that has helped me and given me so much. So it does make it easier. Having my family there the whole time. Friends, people that are always there for me, and then the football club, you know, the people you are coming into work with every single day, staff, teammates, always there. So when they are joking, laughing, and smiling, just makes it easy to be honest. so it's been really, really good in that sense. Liverpool and Crystal Palace's form must also make it easier. The defender clearly has a great head on his shoulders, and his mindset is something to be admired. While not being able to move to the current Premier League champions and one of the world's biggest clubs would be immensely disappointing, the context of how his team is performing this season, compared to Liverpool. It is not just the fact that they beat the Reds with a dramatic last-minute goal last weekend, but also the 19-game unbeaten run across all competitions. Watching how well Guehi is performing, though, will be something that will at least excite supporters, knowing that they have an incredible chance at signing the defender next summer at the latest. Liverpool in really intense race to sign Mohamed Salah replacement. Michael Olise has quickly risen the ranks to become one of Vincent Kompany's go-to men at Bayern Munich. Despite completing just one season in Germany, sources told Football Insider that Liverpool are in pole position to sign Olise. The Frenchman is seen as a long-term replacement to Mohamed Salah, who is anticipated to leave Liverpool for Saudi Arabia before the end of his contract, Football Insider exclusively revealed. Liverpool were told to pay Bayern Munich over £100 million to bring in Olise, with the price tag expected to soar given his upwards trajectory. Bayern Munich bracing for intense Michael Olise interest. As I revealed on the latest edition of Football Insider's Inside Track podcast, the former Crystal Palace wizard is one of the hottest properties in Europe right now. In his debut 2024-25 campaign, the number 17 notched 17 goals and 18 assists in all competitions, which has hurtled him towards being dubbed one of the finest youth talents in world football. Speaking on the Inside Track podcast over those who are chasing him, I explained, it'll be a real intense race to sign Michael Olise. If he does become available at Bayern, all the top clubs in Europe would love to sign the young Frenchman. As you said, Liverpool have targeted him as a long-term replacement for Mohamed Salah. Manchester City, I'm sure, would be interested in Olise. Real Madrid, as you've mentioned as well, would also be keeping tabs on the attacking midfielder. Mohamed Salah drop-off will see Liverpool ramp up pursuit in Olise. Liverpool have been extremely concerned with the form of Salah at the start of the 2025-26 season. The Egyptian has looked a shadow of his former self, often being stuck on the right and hardly getting involved in the Reds' attacks. Under Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot last campaign, the number 11 was the focal point of everything the Merseyside club did. However, the Dutchman is clearly altering his tactics to incorporate the Kop's array of attacking stars, especially with the 33-year-old set to be leaving Anfield at the end of the 2026-27 season. Therefore, Olise is seen as the ideal long-term successor to the ex-Roma winger, with Liverpool eyeing up a huge bid in the coming transfer windows. Very rare talent, one of two Brazilian youngsters on Liverpool's January shopping list. Liverpool supporters would love to see their club dip into the January transfer market this season. Although the Reds did a lot of business over the summer, they inarguably left themselves short at centre-back in particular. Liverpool could buy a centre-half in January, with Marc Guehi certainly one to watch when the window opens in the new year. In the meantime, mid-season can also be a time to assess options in South America. With the domestic season over, clubs are often looking to move players on. That can be true in Brazil, where the best-performing youngsters of the season can be plucked off by Europe's biggest sides. Liverpool have not often been quick enough at snaring some of these talents before they become big-money superstars. But things may be changing in that regard, with the Reds reportedly eyeing moves for two exciting forwards. Liverpool keeping tabs on Ryan release clause. There are certain young players emerging in Brazil who have seemingly been on Liverpool's radar for a long time already. One of those is Vasco da Gama's Ryan Vitor, who has been regularly linked with a potential move to Anfield. And according to Goal, the Reds cannot be ruled out of a swoop for the 19-year-old when the window creaks open. They claim that Ryan is attracting plenty of interest across Europe, having been enjoying a good season with Vasco. Tottenham are reportedly the side showing the most enthusiasm for Ryan, but his reported £34 million release clause is said to have alerted other clubs, including Liverpool. Though interested parties are claimed to be confident they can negotiate that fee down, Vasco reportedly have an eye on recouping at least the £29 million Palmeiras received when selling Estevão Willian to Chelsea. Vasco manager Fernando Diniz has explained why that should be the case, labeling Ryan as a very rare and special talent in quotes from Goal. Alisson Edward also on Liverpool's list. According to a separate report from Bola VIP Brazil, Ryan is not the only Brazilian talent catching Liverpool's eye just now. They claim that the Reds are the main interested party in Grêmio's Alisson Edward. Alisson signed a contract until 2029 with the tricolour recently, but could still be sold during the January window. However, it is claimed that Grêmio will not make it easy for anyone to sign the 19-year-old, and will reportedly look for offers well above average to let him go. Liverpool are said to be preparing an offer for the January window, although no exact figures are mentioned at this point.